Hey YouTube. Alright, let's go ahead and get right into the topic, which is if you don't love yourself. I have four main points and then I have a solution. So let's get into it. First point I want to make. Have you ever heard someone say, if you don't love yourself, who will? I'm sure you have. Now, first of all, let's just kind of examine the statement. If you don't love yourself, who will? This statement implies that if you don't love yourself, nobody else will. And it also implies that loving yourself is a condition of being loved. Basically, it's saying that in order to be loved by others, you have to love yourself. That is not true. If you are blessed enough to encounter people with a good spirit, and those good spirited people stick around in your life and they grow to love you, they will love you even if you don't love yourself. They will treat you with love. They will treat you with care, and they will treat you with respect. In fact, they will probably treat you better than you treat yourself. So, with that being said, if you love yourself, if you don't love yourself, who will? Well, the people who love you. And also, to imply that loving yourself is a condition of love makes love conditional. And I personally do not believe that true love is conditional. I believe that true love is unconditional. With that being said, that it's false to believe that you have to love yourself in order to be loved, because you don't have to love yourself in order to be loved. Okay? True love is unconditional, meaning without conditions, aka rules and things of that nature. Okay? Now, on to the second one, which is, let's go ahead. Now, and once again, this is my second point. I guess I'm also reminding myself I'm getting kind of. Anyway, second point. Now, you're not always gonna be lucky enough to run into good spirited people. Sometimes you're gonna run into people who don't care about you. They don't respect you, and they might even barely like you. However, if you don't love yourself, you'll probably choose to keep those people in your life instead of getting rid of them. And if you get into a situation that takes away from you as a person, that hurts you as a person, and you don't love yourself, you will choose to stay in that situation. The fact of the matter is, when you don't love yourself, and not loving yourself isn't just it's not just action, it's thoughts, it's feelings, it's the way you speak, all those kind of things play into that. It becomes a lifestyle almost. Then you will find other people and situations that convey that lack of love that you have for yourself. Okay? So my second point is, if you don't love yourself, you will choose to keep people and to stay in situations that don't love you. Alright? Now my third point. And this more so pertains to, let me clarify on what kind of, see, I get, my mind, I have it all in my head, but I'm trying to get it out, so work with me here. Alright. My third point has to deal with the relationships, not just romantic relationships. These could be friendships, it could be relationships with people in your family, things of that nature. However, let me make this clear. This more so pertains to the people who don't care about you, as opposed to the ones who do care about you. So think of people who are in your life, who you have kept in your life, who don't care about you and are taking away from you as a person, but because you don't love yourself, you have decided to keep them there. Okay? In your relationships with those type of people, you may think that you love them, but you probably don't. What you are probably feeling is an unhealthy dependency that you have with them. And it's unhealthy because they're hurting you and you're allowing them to hurt you. But for some reason, you are feeding off of your relationship with that person, and you're trying to use that relationship and that person as a way to fill the void that you have inside of yourself. When you don't love yourself, you have a void. And oftentimes, those people try to fill that void with other people. Unfortunately, most of the time, they don't usually use the people who love them. They use the people who couldn't give less than a crap about them. So, with that being said, your relationships with those kinds of people probably aren't as real as you think you are. If you're thinking love hurts, the people that you are with probably don't love you. You probably don't love them, and you both just have an unhealthy dependency on each other because one or both of you do not love yourself. Okay? Yes. All right. Now, my fourth point. If you don't love yourself, you will be your own worst enemy. And that's because when you don't love yourself, you don't care about yourself, you don't trust yourself, and you don't respect yourself, nor do you treat yourself with consideration or anything of that nature. You just don't. You'll place yourself into unhealthy situations with people who don't care about you. You will do things that take away from you and hurt you as a person. You won't even respect yourself enough to, do right by yourself. You are your own worst enemy. You will be the one to close the door in your own face. You will take away opportunities from yourself. You will reject chances that you have to do better because you don't even like yourself. You will essentially become self-destructive, and you will be your own worst enemy. So, with all that being said, it should be pretty obvious that in order to have a happy and fulfilling life, you need to have a good, healthy relationship with yourself. And the key that is needed to have, the key to having a good and healthy relationship with yourself is to love yourself. Now, Rome wasn't built in a day. Is it Rome? Or is it something else? I don't know. If it's not Rome, then I apologize and disregard that statement. But with that being said, if you don't love yourself and you have been loving yourself for years, you're not going to be able to just suddenly love yourself in one day or 2 days, maybe not even a week. It takes time. So, here is my solution. And my solutions will probably almost always involve action. Love in and of itself isn't just words. It's action. So, if you want to start loving yourself, start acting like you love yourself. You may not believe it yet, and you probably won't for a while. But go ahead and start acting like you do. Start acting like you care about yourself. And hopefully, it'll just go backwards. You go from acting like you love yourself, to thinking that you love yourself, to saying that you love yourself. And by the time that you're saying it, it'll actually be true in your heart. Of course, it may not work that way. Maybe you need to reverse it and go from saying that you love yourself to thinking that you love yourself to acting. But I truly believe that it needs to be put into action now. You shouldn't go another day without loving yourself. You deserve to be loved, especially by yourself. Bye, YouTube.